Hi, my name is Lily and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be doing my July wrap up. So I read 5 books to start to finish in July and I DNF'd one book, and I'll be talking to you about all 6 of the books in the order that I read them. The first book was Bloodlust and Bonnets by Emily McGovern. This was gifted to me by my friend Livy, so thank you Livy. This is a graphic novel and it's about, it's got Lord Byron in it, and then a vampire hunter, and then a lady who she was approached by a vampire and the vampire kind of said to her like, I want you as part of my sapphic vampire coven. And basically they become this like vampire hunting trio, and it's very chaotic and very funny and it's very bloody. And basically it is really good and really fun. I definitely recommend it as a fun read. I think it would help if you have a little bit of knowledge about Lord Byron before you go into this, because it kind of assumes that you know the sort of lore around him, I guess, or like the common things to know about Lord Byron, but it's really fun. The only thing is I found it a bit confusing because the plot is kind of weird and the art style was really difficult to follow at times because they don't have like faces. So I think I gave it a 3 stars, but it's definitely one of those ones where it wasn't a 3-star because it was bad or disappointing. It was just a good book that I found a bit confusing at times. Next I followed that with another graphic novel, which was Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me by, I've forgotten the name again, Mariko Tamaki, and then illustrated by Rosemary Valero O'Connell. So this is a young adult contemporary graphic novel. It's kind of a romance but kind of not really. It's about a young girl who I've also forgotten the name of. Does it tell me? Freddie. So this is Freddie and this is Laura Dean, and basically it's about Freddie who's been having this on and off again relationship with Laura Dean, who is a really popular girl at her school, and it's about her kind of finding out about healthy relationships and why she shouldn't keep going backwards and forwards with Laura Dean, and also it's about how her obsession with her relationships with Laura Dean is affecting her friendships. And I think it's really good. It's very accurate to teen life and I found it really not relatable because I didn't have a similar issue, but it felt realistic and I just really enjoyed reading it. I gave it 5 stars. It's mostly in black and white with like pops of pink. Let me give you a page to show you. So you can see here it's mostly black and white with little bits of pink here and there, and I really like the art style. It was really unique to me, and yeah, I thought it was really sweet and it's a great coming of age novel. So the next book I read was Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This is the same author of Artemis and The Martian. So I've only read The Martian, but it's one of my all-time favourite books and I really love it. So I had high hopes for Hail Mary, especially because I've been hearing really great things about this book. I'm not going to tell you too much about it because pretty much any opinion on it gives away spoilers. I also won't be saying who my favourite characters are because I don't want to be spoiling anything for you. So basically this is about a man named Ryland who wakes up on a spaceship and discovers that he's in the middle of space on his own and his crewmates have died, and he's got to try and figure out why he's there and what he's there to do and what's going on back in Earth. So that's kind of the premise. I wish I could tell you more because there is so much amazing stuff that happens in this book, but if you really liked The Martian, I would highly recommend this. I was really worried going into it that it would be a carbon copy of The Martian, especially because it's another like lone survival story, but it's really not. It's very different, and the character of Ryland is really different. In The Martian he's kind of a know-it-all and he's like really snarky and sassy, whereas Ryland is kind of more of a soft boy and he's less knowledgeable and needs more help. So, you know, he has to use his like research resources more than Mark Watney would have had to. So it's a very different dynamic and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. I found absolutely nothing wrong with it. I wish I could tell you more about why I liked it, but again, spoilers. The next book I read was my DNF, and that was One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, and I can't show it to you because I've already sold it. And basically this is about a young woman who, I've forgotten the names, but basically a young woman who lives in New York. She's there as a student. Every year she seems to change majors and universities, and this year she's going to university in New York, and she is getting the train or the subway. She's getting the subway to university and she comes across this really hot like leather jacket wearing woman who she has this crush on. And she starts to realise that this girl is there quite a lot, and then in her job that she has, she stumbles across a picture of this woman working at the same place as her, but in 1976. So it then becomes a question of why is this woman on the subway and this picture in 1976 looking exactly the same. And yeah, it's really sounds much better than it is. I found it really boring. I think I gave it 2 stars because I remember, I think it's on the core pile tracker, the star ratings have like this guide, and it's like 1 star is never should have been published and 2 star is needs a lot of work, and I feel like it's definitely one of those ones where it has potential but it needed a lot of work. It was very, very boring. Someone needs to tell Casey McQuiston she can have chapters that are less than like 500 pages long, please. Those chapters were way too long and they were too boring. And like, this book, just nothing happens. Like, nothing happens at all. It's really, really boring. And the characters are not that enjoyable. Like, the side characters are okay, but like, the main character is really unlikable. She just is very moany and complainy and just very negative, and I didn't enjoy that at all. So yeah, that was a no from me. I think I DNF'd about 100 pages in, and then I got one of my friends to tell me what happened in the rest of the book, and I realised at that point that it was a good decision to DNF because I was not going to like that ending. I was kind of holding out to find out what would happen in the end, and then I realised it's a popular book, so I can just ask someone who's read it to tell me what happened in the end. And yeah, it's got a stupid ending too, so all around a bad book. I wouldn't recommend it. Next, I read Hidden Bodies by Carolyn Kepnes. This is the 2nd book in the You series, so I read it as an audiobook on Scribd. I don't have a physical copy of it, and I would actually recommend listening to these books on Scribd or any kind of audiobook platform because the narrator is really, really good. I enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. I think I'm just kind of easy to please at times with this series, and yeah, I really liked it. I can't tell you much about the 2nd book because it will spoil the 1st book, but the general premise is it's about a man named Joe Goldberg who gets obsessed with women and stalks them, and he is willing to kill to keep the affections of the woman that he's obsessed with, basically. And yeah, so this one, it was definitely different to the first one. So the first book, You, is called You because it's all told in 2nd person as if he's talking to his obsession, but the 2nd book is written in 1st person and it's like narrated by, obviously, by Joe, and it's a very different perspective, even though it was kind of 1st person before where it was narrated by Joe but he was talking to Beck, Guinevere Beck, the obsession in the 1st book, and then in this book he is talking in 1st person, so it's kind of a similar tone, but it's just a bit different, and I'm not complaining. I actually kind of liked it still. I don't know, I enjoyed it. I thought the characters were really interesting, and I enjoyed the different dynamics of this one because Joe was definitely like the poor man in this one, which was a different dynamic to the 1st book. And yeah, I thought it was good. It's very different to the 2nd series of the show, like almost completely different. I think it's a really, really good book, and I'm reading the 3rd book at the moment and I'm not liking it as much as the first 2, but I think the first 2 at least hold up really well for me. And the final book I read in July was Fat Chance Charlie Baker by Crystal Maldonado. So this is another young adult contemporary. It's about Charlie Vega, who is a fat Puerto Rican girl living in America, and her mother is white and her father was Puerto Rican, but he has died. But when she was a child, her mother was also fat, and their family had a lot of like focus on food and love and harmony, and then after her father died, her mother lost a lot of weight and now like doesn't cook any of the Puerto Rican food that she likes and is like obsessed with getting Charlie to lose weight as well. And it's about the toxic relationship with her mother and how growing up in this fatphobic society and with a fatphobic mother has affected her and her confidence. And also it's about her falling in love and meeting a boy who loves her, including the fact that she's fat. And it's pretty good. It can be very triggering at times if you have struggled with people being fatphobic towards you, especially loved ones, but I think it's a really important read, and I think the learning that she does throughout the book is really important, especially because it doesn't completely like make her out to be innocent. She projects a lot on others and that is called out, and I really liked that. So yeah, I think it was a really, really good read. Thank you to everyone who recommended this to me, and yeah, trying to think what else I want to say about it because I just loved it. I really loved the romance in it, the romance, or what's the word? The love interest. I really enjoyed the love interest a lot. So yeah. What was I going to say other than that? he's just really cute. I thought it was really, really sweet, and I think I gave it 4 stars. So that was just a really quick little wrap up. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, that's all. If you can hear the ice cream van, I'm really sorry. It's been going around constantly and I've been trying to like cut it out, but you're probably gonna hear it at this point because I've given up. But yes, those are all the books I read in July. I had a really mixed month, but I definitely read some great ones, and I'm really looking forward to August, where I'm reading my Pixarathon books. If you're only just hearing about Pixarathon now, I will link it in the cards and in the description, and you can join at any point during the month. But yeah, July was a mixed month for me, both reading and life-wise, so I'm not surprised I didn't read a lot, but I am really glad that I read a few new gems. So in the comments, let me know what you read in July, tell me about your favourite book of the month, and there, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to leave me a comment to let me know you're here and you didn't know what to comment, then leave me a little... leave me a spaghetti emoji in the comments below. Thank you again. Bye!